you may have seen already on social media. In about the last hour, Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano has put onto Twitter a quote from Romelu Lukaku saying this: "Physically, I am fine, but I'm not happy with the situation at Chelsea. Tuchel has chosen to play with another system. I won't give up. I'll be professional. I am not happy with the situation, but I am professional, and I can't give up now." Now, for the last 60 or so minutes, we've been trying to work out when this interview was done, because, of course, he scored the other day. In fact, he scored in the last two games, Danny and Tim. And I'm hearing now from The Guardian, literally just handed to me in the last minute, that the interview was done with Sky Italy 3 weeks ago. Quotes, not hugely helpful, but does change the context. So he spoke positively about Tuchel after the Villa game and, of course, has scored twice this week. So it was done 3 weeks ago. But just to remind you, he said, "I'm not happy with the situation at Chelsea." So, Danny, I'll come to you first. The fact that it was done 3 weeks ago, does that change anything for you?
Not really. It's it's pretty damning what he said. It's something that when we all heard it, we were really surprised. It seems to have come out of the blue. One of the things I would say is that when you look at the timing of when the interview was supposedly done, it comes round about that period when he was playing in a two with Timo Werner up front. And one of the interesting things was that you look at those two plays and you think, right, OK, well, Timo Werner's going to be the player that stretches the game and Lukaku's going to be one that comes a little bit short. Lukaku was still looking to stretch the game. When he first started his Chelsea career, he was playing as a lone front man. Played that at Everton, worked really well, played in a two when he was at Inter Milan. And he's gone back to playing that now. But there's a definite frustration from Lukaku because he's obviously a record signing, so you build a team around him. I don't think that Chelsea play to Lukaku's strengths. And, it still doesn't make it right what he's come out and said. But there's definitely a huge sense of frustration from him.
Tim, you played with Romelu Lukaku at Everton. So are you surprised by this outburst?
Well, I'm surprised because he's not a venomous type of character. He's pretty calculated. He's a good guy, a good teammate. And, when I look at him talk about Tuchel, and name Tuchel, that's a big thing for a player to do, to come out in the press and to say that the manager doesn't play a certain way. I think he's frustrated. Absolutely, I think he's frustrated. The way that things happen at Inter, the way he left, whether he had to be sold for them to recoup some money for the club, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't get an opportunity to speak to the fans the way he wanted to and leave on his own terms. And I think for all the football clubs that he's been at, Inter is his spiritual home. It's where he found the most peace playing football. Even though when I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, he talked about unfinished business at Chelsea, and I think that was also real, but I think it was a brave face to say, I'm here now, I have to come back and hopefully win some trophies. But this does seem out of character for him to speak in this way.
Well, further on in the interview to Sky Sports Italy, he does talk about Inter Milan, about how he's in love with Italy and he wants to go back, not at the end of his career, but still trying to win trophies when he's still in his prime. Where do you think this leaves Thomas Tuchel and Romelu Lukaku?
Watch this space, right, Rebecca? I just think that in the next few days, they have a big game coming up against Liverpool this weekend. They're going to have to address this. Tuchel's going to have to address it. You hope that Chelsea put forth Romelu Lukaku to address it prior to the game as well, because this needs some sorting out. And look, I wouldn't be surprised that if Tuchel didn't know about these comments prior to it being released. And so, look, he's played in the last two games. He's scored. This is a top-level football. They're trying to win a title. He's scoring goals. He should be on the pitch irregardless.
The question has to be asked is he a Tuchel signing? I think that's the one thing, that has to be asked. We know that Chelsea in the past, at certain points, they brought players in that don't necessarily suit how the manager wants to play. You're going to have to look at Lukaku's career. At Everton, when he played alongside you, Tim, his two best seasons, Everton had like 8th or 9th highest possession. Same at Inter Milan, they were outside the top 5 possession. Chelsea don't play the way that Lukaku suits, which is to play on the counter-attacking, and they have the 3rd best possession in the league. So time will tell, but that's the question I'd be looking at. Is he a Tuchel signing, or is it somebody else within the club?
If he was unhappy 3 weeks ago, can he be happy now?
It's a difficult one for a player. All players want to be playing. It's as simple as that. But this still is going to cause problems within the club. There's no question about it. Whether he's happy or not, what's been said, you can't take that back.
Well, we're monitoring what Lukaku is saying right now on his social media. Nothing yet from Lukaku, nothing yet from the club. If anything happens and developments in the story, we will, of course, bring it to you. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches and much more.